Your Delonghi Dinamica already makes you a decent coffee, but with a few simple adjustments, you can completely transform your coffee experience. And I'll show you how to go from not bad to a truly delicious espresso. Hi everyone, my name is Colin and you're on Cafe Lista. Today we are diving into the Delonghi Dinamica settings to maximize its potential. As always, no sponsorship on the channel. I bought this machine myself and I'm sharing the settings that really works for me. But first, something crucial. This setting will give you an excellent baseline, but every coffee is different, as you know, and each machine has its own quirks and particularities. So what I'm about to show works for most situations, but feel free to tweak things to suit your taste, of course. And honestly, we will talk a little bit more about that, but the number one factor is a good coffee beans. No amount of adjustments will rescue supermarket beans roasted 6 to 12 months ago. And a small kitchen scale will also make these settings much easier. Let's start by getting to know our machine. So we will measure how much coffee it uses at a chosen strength. On the Dinamica, you have several strength levels. So I recommend starting here with a single or a double espresso and always at the maximum strength. This will be our working base. How to measure the coffee dose. Start an espresso, stop it right after grinding by pressing the button of the drink again. The ground coffee drops into the coffee container here. You can weight it after you have emptied it and don't forget to dry the coffee if it's a little bit wet. On my Dinamica max strength, I have around 14 to 15 grams of coffee. Note this number, we will use it later. So why it's so important? Because knowing your dose lets you reproduce the same recipe every time. I have a quick question for you. You can reply in the comments, but have you ever weighed the coffee from your machine? Do you think it makes sense or do you think it's too complicated? I'm curious whether you also get the same results as I do. Now that we know our dose, let's talk about volume. One of the classic and most common bean to cup mistake, letting far too much water run through the coffee puck. So for a good espresso, aim for a coffee to water ratio of about 1 to 3 for super automatic. For 15 grams of coffee, we will look for roughly 45 grams in the cup. So no, not 60, not 70, that's a lungo, it's not an espresso, it's too much water. To adjust that on the Dinamica, you can hold your drink button during the extraction and you can release as you're near to the right volume. Then press again. When it's perfect, the machine remembers. So why this is crucial? Because beyond 45-50 milliliter, you mostly extract bitterness and dilute the good espresso you already had in the cup. By the way, to go further and master every setting without forgetting anything, I have prepared a complete guide to set up properly your bean to cup machine. It's totally free and you will find the link in the description. It will really help you optimize your coffee. Okay, now back to our settings. On the Dinamica, we also can set the temperature. So my advice here to start, put it on to the maximum, especially for the first coffee of the day. You know, on the Delonghi's machine, sometimes the first coffee is lukewarm. On the Dinamica Plus or a touchscreen model, you will find the settings menu and then temperature and you can change it there. Why it could be important? Because lukewarm coffee is not really good, it's frustrating, and also because heat helps extract flavor better. If these tips are already improving your coffee, don't hesitate to like the video. And if you want more advices on optimizing your machine, choosing the right beans, keeping everything maintained, don't forget to subscribe. We release new content every week. Okay, so we have the base of our settings, but here is the setting that really makes the difference, the grind size. If your coffee flows too quickly, let's say under 15 or even under 10 seconds, that means your grind is too coarse. Water passes without extracting the coffee properly, resulting in a watery, acidic coffee with no body. This is the biggest problem of a bean to cup machine. If it flows too slowly, if it clogs, it's the opposite. The grind is too fine. On the Dinamica, the adjustment knob is in the bean hopper. So adjust it in a small increment, always when the grinder is working. The goal here, we want a steady flow, a constant stream that takes about 20-25 seconds if you're lucky. With bean to cup machine, usually we won't reach the traditional 30 seconds. But if we can be between 18, 20, 25 seconds, that's already pretty good. So my settings with the Dinamica. My grinder is on 2 or 2.5. I'm using a good Brazilian coffee, a specialty coffee, medium roast that is freshly roasted. I set the volume to 45 grams in the cup and also the temperature to the maximum. So for cappuccinos and latte, everything starts with a good espresso. So we have that base. Now, a little advice to make your drink even better. For a great foam, use cold milk, ideally whole 3%. With the Delonghi Latte crema system, you can adjust the amount of milk for your taste, less milk for a cortado for a better taste of coffee, and more milk for latte. Don't forget to preheat your cup with a bit of hot water. It prevents the thermal shock that instantly cools down your coffee. So cold milk, straight from the fridge, 3%. This is really important to have the proper texture. Okay, now test. You can brew your espresso with these new settings, and you should have now a beautiful crema that will last longer, a coffee with more body, pronounced aroma, a clean finish without bitterness. So if it's still too acidic, you can grind one notch finer. And if it's too bitter, you can grind one notch coarser. If your coffee lacks strength, you can shake your dose and the volume in your cup. A crucial reminder, we talked about that in the intro, but you know, all these settings only works wonders if you start with a good coffee. A freshly roasted bean with a visible roast date is the best if you can find that, and it will make up 70% of the final result. So a perfectly tuned machine with a bad coffee roasted 6-12 months ago will still be disappointing. And that's it. With these settings, your Dinamica will surprise you. So the idea is to start from this solid base and adjust according to your personal taste. But wait, don't leave yet. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will love this one here. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything. I've got plenty of surprises in store. As usual, I see you soon. I hope you have a good week. Ciao.